All right, guys. And we're going to get started. Let's do a roll call.
Good afternoon, everyone. Miguel Martinez, present. Felicia Salazar, present. Hector Abad, present. Dottie Wicks, present. Matthew Casamayor, Economic Development. But Rudy Blanco, welcome, representing Economic Development. Mental Health Task Force, Lindsay Wallach, present. Rudy Oredo, absent. Homero Cruz, Royal Oaks, absent. Renard Amaro, Section 1 NSD, not here. Ruben Arguelles, present. Nancy Rogers, present. Jose Fernandez, Sheriff Ad Hoc, not here. Helen Roldan, Sports Hall of Fame, not here. John Roger, Special Needs, not here. William Perez, present. Brian Rodriguez. Welcome, everyone.
Okay. Anybody have any motions to change or modify the order of business? Any additions, deferrals, deletions from the agenda? All right. There's only one member of the public. Moritz, if you want to make any comments, you have a opportunity. Yeah. You are one and only.
Good evening, everyone. Maritza Casa, Vice Chair, Youth Activity, Student Member, Education Advisory Board. I'm just sitting in here today to watch all the incredible feedback that the chairs give. I'm going to give, now that I have the floor, some public props to both of my chairs, Mr. Hector Abad and Brian Rodriguez, for doing incredible jobs in leading our committees. And I also want to give props to both my liaisons, Ayo and Ernie, for always doing a fantastic job as well. But it's a pleasure being here, and I look forward to hearing what everybody has to say.
I didn't see Mario back there. Mario, any public comments? You're good? All right. The previous meeting minutes were not able to be completed by this meeting, so we'll review them together at the next meeting, but in the next day or two, when they are put together, our staff will email them to you, so at least you have them and you'll be able to review them in advance. So we can get right into committee reports. We'll start from the back. Let's go with the Youth Activities Task Force, so he doesn't think that we're ignoring him.
All right. Okay. I think this mic is dying, so it's red. But for those that don't know me, my name is Brian Rodriguez, Chair for the Youth Activities Task Force. Is just a quick question: is this also the open forum part 2? Because it says /open forum. Okay, cool. So recently, our committee, we have had not really any problems with attendance. Maybe just 1 or 2 people, but nothing crazy. As well as attendance with events. I know a lot of committees have had those issues. We were one of them that had it for a very long time. So we haven't had to cancel any meetings for a long time as well. Good attendance. Also, we just had our Spring Fling event the Saturday before Easter. Few minor hiccups, but there's always hiccups in our events when we have such large scale events. But we learn from what we have, and we take it into consideration for the next year, and we just make it better every year. I'd say we had over about 5,000 people at our Easter Spring Fling event this year. It was packed. Everyone had a great time. And, you know, just things like that. We have our job fair coming up on May the 20th, our youth employment initiative. We weren't able to have it last year or the prior years because of COVID, but we are bringing it back this year to open it up to high school and college students to have an opportunity to try to get a job during the summer, or an internship during the summer, or even just a permanent job or anything like that. And learn about different small businesses and big businesses in and around the town. And that's my update right now for the committee. But some things that I did want to bring up regarding the open forum. I had my meeting last night with my committee, and there were some concerns that I was asked to bring up to the town staff. And one of those issues was whoever controls the Eventbrite, there are some things that need to be fixed when it comes to Eventbrite. We ask the town to do some things and they don't do it how we ask them to do it. And I know Eventbrite has that capability. For example, capping tickets. Instead of putting a cap on tickets, they just put the closing date of the ticket. So for example, let's say we sell 50 tickets, right? And we have 50 available spots. It was open till the day of, and we had 150 tickets sold. So that creates a problem with our committee, as to the point where we have too many tickets and then there's no cap, right? And we can only have so much because we have a budget and we can't pay people for the services they're providing to the residents. So for example, at our spring fling event, for our pony rides or our face painters, they gave us a cap. For some reason, the tickets were sold over the cap, and then we had to pay the face painters overtime at our event. So that just comes out more money out of our budget that we don't have. So that's one thing I wanted for you guys to take into consideration, as well as the times that we give you guys for our events. Our event was, and it said it on the flyer, was from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. On the Eventbrite, it said 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So people were getting there early, which is not a problem. The problem is that 1:30 gap. People come late and say, oh, they're there to get their tickets for whatever they're doing. And guess what? We stopped giving out tickets at 12:30 just so we could have that gap, right? But since the Eventbrite says 1:30, now we have to pay everyone else overtime to be there because we have them till 1 o'clock. So that's just something that I wanted to bring up with you guys. I don't know what's going on because Ernie even showed us that he sent you guys the times, and on the flyer it says the right times, but on the Eventbrite it did not. So I just wanted to bring that up. Those are some concerns that we had with the town, but everything else has been okay. And advertising looks to be getting better. I don't know if the other committee members here, or the other committee chairs have seen it. Advertising does seem to be getting a little bit better than what it used to be. So that's all I really have as of right now.
Veterans Committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bill Perez. I'm the new chair of the Veterans Committee. Quite brief, May 28th is going to be Memorial Day, 10 a.m. In lieu of a guest speaker, what we're going to do is we're going to have veterans from each service read a Medal of Honor citation from someone who lost their life in combat. I'm hoping that can become a tradition. I think once folks hear these citations, it'll be pretty good. Other issues that we're working on involve some improvements to the Veterans Park, or suggestions for improvements. And another thing we're looking to work with is with the Educational Advisory Board on what I like to call a Veteran Story Hour, where a veteran goes into school and reads a story for kids. I found that when I went to the career day at the elementary school in my uniform and passed out flags, we talked about everything but a military career. And the kids really enjoyed just discussing anything and everything that they want to talk to about with someone from the military. So I'm going to try to pick your mind to see what's the best approach to do that. Obviously, the books are going to be whatever is selected by the school. We're not going to be telling them war stories. And I think it'll be a good event for both veterans and for children. Thank you.
All right, we don't have special needs or Sports Hall of Fame or the Sheriff's ad hoc committee. Before we go on to the next one, which is going to be Nancy for public safety, I know we have some new chair people here. This may be the first time that you guys have come to a chairperson's meeting. The primary objective for these meetings is really a coordination, right? It's the opportunity for all the chair people to come talk about their events, to coordinate. That's where there are some opportunities for the committees to join up together to do things jointly. And that's really that's probably the number one priority of these meetings. Also, I guess if there's issues going on with the committee, things that are not resolved some other way, because you guys always, anybody here in this room has the opportunity. You all have a liaison, the liaison. If there's an issue that's not getting addressed with the liaison, you have Claricel. You could always email Claricel. If there's something that's not getting resolved at that point, you could always email me, call me. I'm always available here at Town Hall. Now, if there's something that may be systemic, that may be crossing across the different committees, this is an opportunity for somebody to raise that issue, you know, similar like what Brian said, the Eventbrite. Eventbrite is something that a lot of the committees use, right? So if there's something going on with Eventbrite, that may be something that we can take a look at, that may be affecting multiple committees. But really the number one objective of these meetings is the coordination portion, right? The opportunity for committees to discuss their events, discuss, throw them out. Maybe other committees can jump in. You can do things jointly. That's really the number one objective for these committees. And really it's a coordination between the committees. That's overall, that's what what the purpose of these meetings are. So, all right. Sorry, Nancy, I took your thunder. Nancy, Public Safety Committee. No, because the people at home need to hear you. Sorry.
Nancy Rogers, Public Safety Committee Chair. We have an upcoming event, which is primarily for police and fire, and it's for the award ceremony. And we have a breakfast and we offer a plaque to each awardee. We don't have the names yet. And it's pretty much a private ceremony because it's so small and so is our budget. Hint, hint. But we try to do what we can. When is it? I believe I wrote it down. I believe it's May 20th, I think. Where's Isle? May 20th. And Shula's always does a great job for us. So we'll have it May 20th. And it's an award ceremony breakfast. Hopefully town personnel, the mayor and other council people can attend. I'm sorry? At Shula's. I call it Shula's. It's, we're confirming. At one time we had the ballroom, but it got too expensive and we think we might still have the ballroom because we've lowered the amount of attendees. But we'll know better when we open up the registrations and things like that as to how far we can go with invitations. I know that sounds awful. We're having a party, but you can't come. That sounds awful, but it's all we can do right now. Hint, hint again. And so that's primarily it. And Brian, thank you for allowing some of my guys to show up at different events, especially the nighttime ones that Youth Activities has. And my guys are just extra eyes. They don't approach people or anything like that, but anything unsafe that we see, we're more than happy to attend any of your events, and also to work together with other committees. We enjoy doing that, and I don't mind. And always come to us if you need any kind of assistance with your events. Thank you.
Can I say one? Going up for, like Nancy said, we, as a committee, we do invite all committees to participate in our events. We are one of the committees, as you may know, with some of the largest events within the town, with kids, especially with youth and families. So we invite any committee, if you ever want to be part of our event, you are more than welcome to. The only thing that we ask for is you provide your own tent. If it's one of those events, tents are not cheap. And all of that comes out of our budget, just like you guys have a budget. We have a budget, not the highest budget in the world. So that's all we ask is if you want to join our events, you do bring your own tent. One thing I did want to bring up, and I'm sorry to interrupt here again, because she did bring up volunteers and things like that. I was told that the town was considering allowing adult volunteers into events now that aren't committee members. Is this correct? Because if this is, I do not agree with it, because one, we all have to be background checked.
The town.
Our liaison's the town.
Your liaison said that we the town.
Yeah, and my vice chair is here with me. They said it last night, right? Do you want to explain it if you know more than me?
So from my, oh, that's loud. From my understanding, um, I didn't understand it like that. How I understood it is more of someone threw out the idea of adult volunteers that are not committee members, and it was briefly discussed. I'm not sure where that came from. However, what I do remember being made clear is that that would not work because all committee members or adult volunteers need to have background checks regardless whenever you volunteer in an official capacity of the town. So I remember being discussed at the meeting, but I don't think it was something that was said as if the town was going to do that, but it was discussed, yes.
Got it. Yeah, that's what we were told last night. And if I misunderstood a little bit, I do apologize, but I did want to make that known if it was something that was happening that I don't think it's a good idea. So. Absolutely.
Just as an example, if I may, because this turned into an arrest. And there was an incident where Brian was getting ready and his committee for the Halloween event, the haunted house. They were taking the supplies and things out of the storage sheds. And luckily, you may remember the challenge coin that we gave to the young man, that eventually what he saw and reported ended up in an arrest. And the person that was arrested, was my understanding, was the person that committed an assault on multiple assaults, but definitely one on a town maintenance employee because of what this kid reported. And then at the night of the haunted house, 2 or 3 of us were observing, and there was a very strange character over by the haunted house area. And I kept my eye on him. And through our conversation, whatever, I couldn't figure out who he was watching. Nobody ever came out and approached him. So I just stayed there talking with him. And somewhere down the line, I happened to mention something about, Public Safety Committee, and he couldn't get away from me fast enough. So I'm not saying I prevented something else either, but we do have people who come to these young people's events, and we have to be careful. So I think my time is up, and I appreciate it.
Nancy, Special Needs Advisory. Amen.
Thank you. I'm here for Roger. My name is Clarice Celedon. I'm from Special Need. And he wanted me just to remind everyone that invite everyone. We have 2 events that are coming up. Our resource fair, which is going to be April 29 from 11 to 1 p.m. in the Sunday Community Center. This is Mary Collins Community Center. And so you're all welcome to come and be part of since we still in the awareness of autism awareness month. So it will be very nice to see you guys there. We also are part of a walk for the only school for autism in the city of Hialeah. And we part of that April 22nd, which is this Saturday, and it starts at 10 a.m. So if you guys would like to support, it's part of the new about autism. Is not just awareness, but we want to also be accepted. So as a member of any committee, like you want to also support a cause like autism and help us in the acceptance of autism. One of the things that, let me see, initiatives, events that we're doing for special needs is we want to be part of more causes, not just only autism and Down syndrome. We're also doing something for cerebral palsy, and also we are doing something for rare disease. And we are also going to be doing something for epilepsy. We also doing will be part of the holiday event for the lights and Halloween and the Jones Center. We are part of the Gigi's walk, where they do every year for Down syndrome acceptance, and it's a global acceptance for Down syndrome, and it's May 20 at the McDonald's Park, and it's also a walk. So we welcome you guys to be part of all the events that we have, because it's also an awareness for all the communities that are in the Miami Lakes City. We also, for the future, we have some normal and committee workshops that we are developing for the families of the Miami Lakes community. We have some animation classes. We also have new yoga classes. They're coming up. We also working in a walkathon for a battle of the mayors. So we'll have the Miami Lakes mayor and the Hialeah mayor will be challenged. And we also are working in a sensory friendly playground concept. Also opening inclusion holiday painting with the twist. So those are our future projects that we're working on it. Thank you.
Ruben Arguez, NSD Lakes. For those of you that haven't met me, kind of new, I like to see the new faces too. Really not much of importance to address this at this time, but we are pleased with how the lakes are looking. They are looking very healthy from where they were a few years back. We are excited about that. We're hoping that this summer, the algae bloom becomes less as it has through the last couple of years. We're not going to eradicate it that quickly, but every year since we started this about 3 years ago, this new plan of twice a month and aggressive attack of the bloom, we have seen every summer has gotten less and less aggressive. So we'll see what happens this summer. We're expecting it to be better. Other than that, fish stocking was supposed to be in November. It was moved to June. And so apparently all we can get is bass. So we're working on that to see what else we can get. But that's about all we got going on with the lakes now. Everybody's pleased. We've gotten positive feedback from the residents, and that makes us feel good as a committee. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ruben. The other NSDs are not here. Neighborhood Improvement is not here. So we'll move on to the Mental Health Task Force, which is also.
Hi, guys. My name is Lindsay Wallach, and I'm the chair of the Mental Health Task Force. I am a newbie. We just started off, and we've had a couple of complications with meeting quorum, which we're trying to come back. One of the suggestions that I've gotten is to introduce myself to all the committees. So, hi, I'm here. We're here. If you guys know anybody that might want to join, we do need more members to participate. I'm super excited to participate in all the other events, and hopefully the next meeting, I'll have some events to share with you guys or some, new things going on. But yeah, that's where we are right now. We're just kind of having difficulties trying to meet the quorum.
That's not unusual for new committees.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, the Mental Health Task Force started off as like an ad hoc committee, and then it was converted to a standing committee. So now it's a full-fledged, they graduated, they're
Here.
full-fledged committee, and they're in the same boat as all the rest of the committee. So that's that. So little by little, you'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So please, if you guys could just spread the word that we are here. We're looking for members, and I'm trying to see if I can maybe come to some of your committee meetings based on my time to introduce myself and the committee. Thank you.
Economic Development, Matthew.
Howdy-ho. All righty. Also a new guy. So, but not a new committee. So the EDC, our goal is to help the small business community here in the town. You guys know that. It's been going pretty well throughout the year. We have a new big like staple event that we're trying to work on for the EDC, kind of what the chambers got going on for them with the expo. We kind of want to have something similar with the EDC that can really make us like a big impact for small businesses here. I pitched it at the last council meeting last week, but just to kind of reiterate it for everyone here, what it's really going to be is kind of like an open panel roundtable kind of concept where we're going to have business leaders from the county. We're going to have as well some from the town. And really the main point of it is going to be to kind of show business owners and tell them about different avenues and different resources that they have available to them, either in the government, in the town, or just general resources that they can find. And the whole goal of it is to be relatively informal, more of a, like I was saying before, open panel roundtable kind of thing where people can ask questions, learn about their what they could use to, you know, benefit their small business and grow it. You know, the whole point is to keep it kind of informal and really tap into the whole small town kind of feel, you know, that we have here. So yeah, that's that event. We're shooting, originally we were going to shoot for June. The council recommended pushing it a little bit and we agreed. So we're going to push it to fall. We figured it'd be best to just skip the summer and everybody being out of town and everything. So we're going to start pretty much early mid-September. So keep an eye out for that. In terms of smaller events, we have planned, I still have to ask, I'm probably going to go after this to the restaurant, for May 17, a business networking social. We try to do these quarterly, sometimes a little bit more often than quarterly. And really what this is just a good opportunity for people from the community, outside the community, can kind of get together, network, learn about each other, learn about businesses, and just kind of grow businesses while also spending time in a restaurant local in Miami Lakes. And we're going to shoot for Amazonia. I'll say that out loud now. So if he's listening, he knows, but, but yeah, that's basically it for us. Like I said, big new event coming up on the way. Hopefully you guys see some more stuff about that coming up in the works. We're going to do some email blasts, probably set up an Eventbrite for all that kind of stuff coming up soon. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, you got a mic right there. I thought we only had two. So that's good.
The ribbon cutting events, which are great.
Oh yeah.
You know, thank God he linked us up with the town and everything else. Those are doing excellent. And we need those. We just
Yeah.
need those. It's vital for the community.
Yeah, for sure. And just to reiterate on that too, we also worked hard and Jonathan was a huge help on that too, to get it on the town calendars. I know that was something that some people in the crowd were telling me after the town council meeting on that Tuesday that like, oh, we'd love to go to the ribbon cuttings, but if only we
Yes.
knew. So now you know, person out there. So so now people can come. So that's good.
And we also got the podcast, which is doing
Oh yeah,
very
that
well.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The Miami Lakes Business Podcast, also now on YouTube. Check it out.
Thank you, Matt. Elderly Affairs. Rudy, if you could pass that mic down to Dottie. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness. The Elderly Affairs Committee right now is, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Oh, okay. Thank you. We have planned 3 Marlin games for June for the seniors. This is one of our events they love during the summer, going to a Marlin game. We are planning a casino trip to Calder.
And I'm going to one of the Marlin games with you.
Okay, you could be one of the big. And we also this year, last year, we had a Miss Senior Miami Lakes contest. We're going to add it to be a Mr. and a Mrs. They don't, not a married couple, but separate. Because we got a lot of heat last year that we were treating the senior women, but not the men. So we put them on the list this year. Also, I had been talking with Officer Amador, and we were going to try and partner with special needs. Does this work now? It must be me. We're going to try to have a special needs for seniors. And we're looking at setting up a forum. I know it will be well attended because I've kind of put the word out to see what they would think. And I think it's going to be a good forum. So as soon as we get that set up, then we can get the attendance and then partner with you all and see how we can make it work together. I think it'll be a huge success. I really do. Let's see what's the advisory committee on. Well, the one problem we have, right now, we're averaging 125 to 130 come in for bingo. And one issue we've had is some of the seniors are trying to sneak in the back door because they didn't sign up. This has happened 3 times now. So now we got a guard at the door. Just saying, oh my goodness, you came in the wrong door. You have to go in the other door. But as soon as we catch them, they don't come in the. Maybe I need to do it like this. I got to sit back, not up front. So now we are going to just have somebody at the gate, you might say. Great. No, it doesn't. Now can you hear me? This is better. So these are some of the things that we've been working on. We keep looking for new things for the seniors because they always give us ideas. Hey, why don't you do this and things like that? But this is what we're working on for the summer right now.
Cultural Affairs, Felicia Salazar.
Thank you for having me here. As you know, I became the new chair after many years of being chair. Now I'm back as an official chairperson. We have, as you know, our committee is very active. We do events almost every month, and we had very successful events. We have right now we have. Let's see, we had a Women of Distinction, was very well attended here, and the setup was different, but it was very successful. We need to work on getting new Miami Lakers participating because there's a lot of people that either the word doesn't get out on time or something like that, but we're working on it. The next event that we had, again, like I have a list of all the events and I don't want to tire you with it. I'm going to give a report on May 9th to the council with all the events. Right now we have in Town Hall, we have the Earth Day exhibition, which I invite everybody, if you're involved with education, we want the kids to come. It's a labor of love, actually. It is trying to combine the arts and the environment. And as you can see, it's a very humble exhibit. And we had a British artist who came and set up some of her work. And it's very interesting. The Everglades Park was very generous in allowing to use their pictures. And so far, we need more attendance and more exposure. It hasn't gotten that much exposure. Events coming up is May 13th, Paint a Picture for Mom. And I see one of your committees is doing something for the holidays. So this is like the summer painting event. We've been doing it for a long time. It would be at the Farmers Market on May 13th from 10 to 1, I believe. So we're counting on getting enough people there. Last year we had 100 people sign up and only half of it. Luckily, we had a lot of walk-ins. So we had about almost 90. So we're close enough. The next event is June 17th, Father's Day Fishing Tournament at the Graham Dairy Lake. The kids love it. I mean, through the years, and I've been in this committee since 2001, so you can show it by my gray hair. We've done, I mean, this something is, I mean, I have a lot of stories about all the events we have, and I don't want to tire you with it. But yeah, that event, kids love it. Some kids, it's the first time they ever fish, and it's a very family-oriented event, like all of them, the Paint a Picture for Mom and everything. Next, we have, of course, the 4th of July event, which is our major event that we do in collaboration with the town. And hopefully we'll get enough sponsors for it. One of the things that we're struggling in our committee, I don't know about the rest of you, is getting sponsors. I know we're competing for sponsors, and hopefully we'll make this, get more sponsors for it. Then we have in August, we have our Symphony of the Americas concert, which we have been doing it for the last 15 years at the Methodist Church. The acoustics there are perfect since we don't have a theater to do it. And that's a free event. All these events are free. And then in September, we still don't have the selection made, but we're going to have a book talk. We had a very successful one here back in October of last year. And the next one is the Spanish Heritage Month, and we feature a country every year because a lot of people think that all Hispanics are the same and each one has their own idiosyncrasy. I don't know if that's can say the right word. And this year we're planning to do Spain. So we're going to have a lot of, it's going to be nice. So please spread the word about all the events that are coming. And last but not least, I mean, I'm talking about what's within our calendar year. Like you see, we do events almost every month. We're going to do the jazz concert. We're going to see if we can do it indoors because unfortunately last year we did it and we had a downpour. We had a big nasty storm that it just rained at the moment of the concert. And it was unfortunate. And we had Nicole Henry, which is actually she started, her first concert was done here. And after that, she skyrocketed. She's famous all over the world now. And she was very gracious to come and she's willing to come back. So keep your ears and eyes open for all this event. And if you want to participate, you're welcome to it. We can collaborate. That's one of the things I know the town wants to do. So that's about it. Any questions?
Thank you. Blasting.
Evening, everybody. Miguel Martinez, the Chair of the Blasting Advisory Board. You here? Oh. But Miguel Martinez, Chair of Blasting Advisory Board. We had it's been pretty eventful, been very eventful. February 21st, we flew to Tallahassee to lobby for a bill that Tom Fabricio, state representative, has penned, HB 77, which is basically to lower the blasting intensity. Unfortunately, this year session is shortened because of the special sessions that the governor had set aside prior to this legislative session. However, the intent legislatively is to get traction on these bills so they get agended. Even though there won't be time for it to go through all the committees, at least they can get traction to see what is the resistance or not or support. So with that, we went lobbying door to door. We had 14 scheduled appointments. We also were able to witness in a committee meeting for transportation. It turns out that the state is in the process of upgrading overseas or long haul highways, if you will. They're setting up for autonomous vehicles for the future. There will be long distance tractor trailers without a driver. To do so, the roadways need to have certain elevations and certain markings and whatnot. To be able to obtain that, they need an increase in aggregate to elevate these highways. So obviously the aggregate comes from here. Now, one of the issues that is coming out is the South Florida does not have the volume to supply the amount of aggregate needed. So it's a big, it's a heated topic, if you will, in the industry. They're looking to bring it in from other states and obviously the local industry doesn't want that. So there's a little push and pull with it. That being said, we met with Chris Colson. Chris Colson is the director of the Miami-Dade Pilot Program. As I mentioned previously, the Miami-Dade Pilot Program is a study being done, sponsored by the state, that they retain the services of an outside engineering firm that has installed 23 seismographs in the county. 14 of them are monitoring White Rock alone. And that is based on our complaints and that they have received from our area. We learned that the pilot program, the budget and the money set aside for it does not include advertising. So a critical component of the program is to receive complaints from the public so that they can create a database, if you will, of how this wave is propagating and the complaints being received by the public. So there's no money in for that. So all the complaints that they received is basically word of mouth from us. So at the time that we went, there were over 2,000 complaints already official complaints filed with the state. So that data is crucial. So we're pushing hard to continue that. One of the members of the committee, the website to get to that complaint site is very lengthy, the name of the website. So one of the members of the committee created a pass-through site, blastingreport.com. You pick it and it automatically forwards you to the state's website. So that's been very helpful and very successful. Now, aside from the 12 appointments that we had, we then went visiting door to door and knocking on offices, literally, to another volume of offices, totaling over 28 contacts. Now, what we did since we don't have a budget, so unfortunately we couldn't get a table because there is no budget for us, but to keep it within the budget that we allocated, the town allocated for our trip, what we did was the information that we provided a small packet, but at the end of the packet was a QR code to bring you to a depository that we have with a folder where if a reader is interested in reading further what we're providing, they can easily do it. And it's extensive because it's a whole folder on the internet. So this is what we were handing out with some informational flyers that we've had printed up, a sample blast report so they can understand the significance of the sine wave that the blast energy is. This is the sample report from the mining company and a sample report from the pilot program. And at the end, a QR code to take you to the depository. Thanks. So that proved very, the ROI was perfect for that. So there's minimal cost to do so. And more importantly, we had significant meetings, including the, what was her name? I don't remember names well. It was Julie Jones from the CFO's office, along with the Speaker of the House staff. Significant. The questions that are being asked now are not, who are you guys? What's this about? It's what's going on, what's been done. So, Brenner. Right. Thanks. So, yeah, I have my memory sits next to me. So the questions are the exposure that we're doing is working. The questions are much more direct and intensive. So I'm pleased about that. Also, we were able to see who are allies and who are not. So that is critical to see who you're dealing with, what you're dealing with, and how to overcome these hurdles and obstacles. On the way back, we were actually at the airport, met the lieutenant governor at the airport. She flew back with us on the plane. But our flight was delayed, and I got a text message from Mayor Sid asking for my email, which he forwarded me an email that he received along with Mayor Messam from a professor out of UM. This professor is doing a research study with imagery from satellite. Through satellite imagery, INSAR it's called, he could see displacements of the Earth surface. Their intent and what they're doing is looking at volcanic movement where they can predict and forecast where a volcanic eruption will occur across the globe and then follow the lava path. Last year, they successfully forecasted an eruption in Hawaii. Now, unbeknownst to me, the scientist that I've been working with is also working with him, who then recommended to look at our area out of curiosity. And lo and behold, he could see surface movement from seismic energy waves in our area. You know where seismic energy wave is coming from in our area? It's from the blast. So he's actually seeing movement, and starting with the schools as an example, up to a 1-inch displacement. One sample building he used by coincidence is my own office building, unknowing that it was my office building. And my office building has moved 7/8 of an inch, which coincides with a ruptured water pipe that we have pavers that have buckled and a gap that is growing because this movement is opposite direction of the mine location, and it's happened radially. So around the mine, the movement of these buildings are spreading out. Now, the study requires high graphic display of the image, where the image that is standard, that everybody is open to see, is low resolution. He needs the high resolution. So these have costs involved, plus the analysis of that data. So he's looking for funding for his study. With that, I invited him to come here and present his study. And we had a meeting here on this past Monday. I believe there were about 100 people in attendance, including Mayor Messam had come in, Councilman Garcia as well. Cava sent her legislative aide, and Fabricio had his aide here as well. So it was pretty well attended, I feel. It was intense, to say the least. I believe we're reaching critical mass as far as the anger and frustration of the public. And something needs to give. We need to, I mean, we've applied so much pressure, something needs to give where we can find a solution to coexist with the industry. It is an essential industry. The following day, I coincidentally at the Civic Association for PSN, I attended, and the meeting turned into a continuation of the Monday's meeting here. And that intense frustration was shared by all. So things are moving. Things are moving. And now we're having science backing our comments and our feelings and our complaints, because there's nothing that had been backed what we're saying scientifically. Everything is considered to be subjective. This study that this professor is doing is so, I don't want to call it far-fetched, but I received a phone call on Friday from the CFO's office, a representative CFO's office, to tell me, hey, I hear we're hearing you guys have a meeting on Monday and it's crazy, quote unquote. I'm like, excuse me? What are you talking about? He says, yeah, there's a meeting on blasting on Monday, and what they're going to present, what we're hearing, it's crazy stuff. I said, sir, it's my meeting we're doing, and it's not crazy. It's a professor from UM who has a team of professors from FAU, FIU, and University of Central Florida. And what they're showing is no joke, and it substantiates what we're saying. So you will be getting a ripple effect of this meeting. I guarantee you that. And he's like, oh, it's real. Oh, it's real. So I said, well, how did you guys find out about it? All the way to Tallahassee. And he says, it's making its way through the university circuits. So the lobbying efforts and whatnot through the universities are making known. Now, universities have always, quote unquote, been considered untouchable. They're non-tarnished, and they provide scientific data. So this, I think, it is making a precedent. Mayor Messam, on the record, offered to be part of funding of this study. If the communities involved or affected can also be participant, then maybe we can fund it locally. It's mind-boggling what this guy is doing. It's absolutely mind-boggling. I have no words about it. So hopefully we'll continue moving this needle, that we're making effects and causing a ripple. No pun intended. So hopefully continue with you guys' support. Thank you.
All right. Education Advisory Board. I apologize for stepping over you.
It's all good. I'm not going to complain. I think he got excited because Rudy's not here. All right. So alongside our vice chair, Mr. Pineda, I'm happy to report that we have allocated and distributed $100,000 towards our local schools for improvements. 5 out of the 6 schools have completed their projects. There's one that they're having issues with leaks, water leaks. So they're hoping to solve that out before they work on their project. We'll be having the senior or graduation banners going up around the town like we've done in the past. I believe that's coming up within the next month. On Monday, we're going to be, at our meeting, we're going to be awarding 2 scholarships sponsored by the Graham Company to 2 of our seniors, two of our resident students. We're also going to be conducting an alternate town seal competition to our alternate amenity. I know that there was a student that came in and presented to the council, and the council referred him back to EAB. So we have reached out to the schools to see if they want to provide something, and I believe the month of November is going to be just displayed somewhere in town hall. On May 11th, we're going to be hosting the second annual Award of Excellence. We're going to be recognizing some of our students and the Teacher of the Year. They're all, again, going to be residents of the town. Additionally, at that event, we're going to be awarding the actual scholarship money to the students. And through a collaboration with the mayor's office, we're going to be recognizing 8 teachers of our local schools who are retiring. Recently, we collaborated with the YATF on their spring fling. I mean, there was a lot of kids. We gave out a lot of books. I think we need to restock on books. We're hoping to participate with Cultural Affairs on their Paint with a Picture with Mom. We also, well, I know I requested Al to send out an email to the district to try to survey our schools to assess what their special need classes are, so we can try to collaborate with a special needs advisory board on trying to create projects for these kids. It is my understanding, if I heard correctly, Mr. Perez, that you want to bring speakers to schools, and maybe that is something that we can collaborate with you, with the school district to bring your speakers. Last year, we had a mental health symposium, but now we have a mental health task force working. So maybe we can collaborate on creating it. Because I do think the future of committees really to collaborate with each other, right? So I'm trying to take notes as to how we can collaborate with each other in the most cost-efficient way, because as I know it's been a topic, but we're not going to get any more money, guys. So let's collaborate with each other. So I know we're talking about issues as well, and it's not a major issue per se, but while trying to come up with this event at our last meeting, by the way, Aisle is wonderful. I always tell her how good she is. But if we could come up with some sort of system that we can categorize expenses, like for now, this event that we're coming up with, we're trying to determine how much we spent last year, right? And I know we came up with something at the end, but if we could find a quick way of, I don't know, maybe accounting, you know, if this event we spent $3,000, and that's what it is. And that way, I think it gives us a heads up of how much sponsorship money we need, right? So I know we're all competing for the same sponsorship money. I mean, we all have to do events and we all get sponsors. So if we had a way to determine exactly what we need, we know exactly what we need to target, right? We don't need to be chasing 20 sponsors. We only need 5. So I think that's about it on our behalf. I will also try to attend some of your meetings. I know I spoke to special needs about attending their meeting, but whatever you guys need from us, we're open to collaborating. Thank you.
All right, that's the committees. I have 2 things. Okay.
Heard it twice already about sponsorships, actually a few times. And I've talked to other chairs in the past about this. I know Nancy's had this issue. And I have a question for the town when it comes to sponsorships, because I know now we want to do a sponsorship package of all the committees. My question is the sponsorship dollar amount the same for every committee? No? Okay, so the only thing I'm going to request or say is I don't agree with a sponsorship package per se. The only reason I say this is because, for example, if I'm a company or if one of you guys are a company and I come up to you with a sponsorship package with 10, 15, 20 different committees on it, it gets a little bit confusing. I'd rather have, for example, when we had our own sponsorship packages, our committee would go out with our sponsorship package to the actual company and show, or the business say, hey, this is our committee, this is what we have, and it lays out everything our committee has, all the information, what we offer per tier, because at the end of the day, every single event has a different sponsorship dollar due to the size of the event and how much the event would cost. I don't necessarily agree with a package for
Yeah,
all the committees.
let me just, because I don't know what you're referring to. Each committee and each event itself has a one sheet document that explain what the committee, that's sponsoring that event is, what the audience, expected audience is, and what the different levels of sponsorship. There's no one collective sponsorship package. That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, that's what I
Because
was-
we're, you wouldn't market the same way you're marketing youth activities that you would for elderly affairs. It's not apples and oranges. So I don't know what you're referring to about your package. Every event has its own sponsorship sheet.
So let's say I was to go to, let's say, the town website for the committee packet or the committee sponsorship package, right? Yeah. So can we also add that to the website, the sponsorship package for the committees? I think it's cool to have it there. If businesses are looking at our website and looking at our each committee and seeing which committees they could get into, if it says want to sponsor something like that, a big sponsorship link that they could press and it takes them to the sponsorship package for that committee, I think it might also help if we're trying to also, I think you guys are working on a new website, right?
Yeah, exactly what I was gonna say is we're developing a new website. So the only thing we're updating on the old one is like new meetings that are coming up or what have you, but we're not really changing too much of the content on there. We're building all that. So we'll take a look at it with the new website.
But yeah, what I was saying is for the sponsorship package, it's not all the committees together in a package, right? I know it's separate pages, but like, for example, mine was its own little booklet almost of each page was a separate event because each event had a different sponsorship amount, what each amount gave you as a sponsor, what the event was about based on what the event, based on the subject of the event, how much it was, what you got from it, what the event is. So that's why I don't think, for example, my committee that has these huge events, I don't think one page is enough for my committee, especially for example.
Brian, I think we're speaking the same language. When I say a one-sheeter, I don't mean literally a one-sheeter. What I mean is each event, it has its own
Okay.
sponsorship. So
I may
we're
have
talking the same
misunderstood when it was
language.
explained to me, so.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, I've got two things. One is the committee report schedule. So we've gotten a little informal, we've strayed, and maybe it's just because that's on our part, we have not reminded committees or told committees that there's an annual calendar of meetings, council meetings that each committee is scheduled to report at. Every committee, if you look at the back, every committee is scheduled, other than the NSDs. The NSDs don't report to the council, but the other committees, we still got to plug in mental health task force. They're not on here. And I noticed that the sheriff's committee is probably not going to report periodically. They'll just report at the end when they're done with their work. But all of the other committees are on here. They have assigned months, 2 a year. So we're going to I'm going to be the bad guy. We're going to stick as much as possible to this calendar. What we're going to allow is a third report on any given month if it is something urgent that cannot wait till the regularly scheduled meeting. I'm going to work with the council to, if for instance, you guys need to transfer money, that's a regular occurrence. It happens a lot. A little bit of money from one event. Thank you. Money that needs to be transferred from one event to another. If you're over on one and you're short on another, those kind of little transfers, that if they're over $700, I cannot approve them. So I'm going to get council approvals for those routine transfers, as long as you're not doing a new event, something that needs new council approval. But if they're existing approved events and all you want to do is move money from one event to another, I'm going to try and see if I can obtain council approval to make those transfers. So those won't have to wait for your regularly scheduled, presentation before the council. So what I'm going to do is we're going to stick to these months for each committee. We're going to allow a third one if there is an emergency. The emergency, you guys can request to present for an emergency. but we're gonna vet that and make sure the last month, we had 5 committees report to the council. And in all honesty, really the main, the thing there is, it took almost 2 hours to get through all of the committee reports. So just to try and be more organized, more diligent, everybody knows what the expectation is. You guys as a committee, you'll know, okay, these are my 2 months and you plan for them. It'll be, I think, much easier on the committees, right? Because now you can plan ahead. You're not doing things spur of the moment. So we're going to stick to these committees. The committees are going to stick to these months. We'll allow a third one every month if there's something that is really, truly time sensitive that can't wait for the regularly scheduled committee. And that's what we'll do. Now, if any of you, the month that you have, there's some kind of an issue because it doesn't work or what have you, we can discuss revamping the calendar. But once we set the calendar, then we're gonna do our best to stick to this calendar with that third committee option for really emergency or time sensitive request to the council. The last thing, which is not on this agenda, is at the last council meeting, Council Member Fernandez proposed and the council approved for us to recognize our volunteers. Obviously, 99% of our volunteers are you guys and the folks that work on your committee. So the month of April is traditionally known as Volunteer Appreciation Month. He gave it to us a week ago. We're, 2/3 of the way through the month of April. We're working on trying to do something this year, so we don't have to postpone it for next year. We're going to try and do something this year. It may trickle into the first few weeks of May, even though April is the appreciation month, but we're working on something. More than likely, at least this year, it'll be some type of appreciation recognition through our social media platforms and those kinds of things. But in addition, we're hoping to have some kind of an event on a Saturday morning that you and your volunteers, your members can come, we can all get together, and it'll be I know it's not a big gesture, but it's the town's little bit of a way of saying thank you for all the hours and all the hard work that you and your members put in for the rest of our residents, for everybody's benefit. So I just wanted to kind of put that on you. We don't have a date. We don't know what it is yet. We're working on putting the details together. It may trickle into May, but we're doing everything possible to put that together in recognition of all the work that the volunteers do. So, yep. I think that's for the website, right? Okay, for social media. Yeah. When did you tell him that?
We'll work around your schedule.
Huh?
No, we kind of picked one, we kind of drew people out of a hat, one per committee. So if you were lucky enough to be, it's not that we don't appreciate everybody, but there's only so much.
So it's not all chair people. Okay. All right. So that's everything that I had on my schedule on my agenda. So go for it.
Mr. Manager, I recommend instead of taking pictures of one of us, I think we have a lot of hardworking volunteers. And what we normally do when we finish an event is we do a group picture. Sometimes it's hard to get everybody together. I know that, but we could say on Saturday at such and such a day, we're going to have a picture of the committee members. I think that would work better than having a picture of us. You know, I know the chair is important, but I think the rest of the volunteers are important too. I know they come and go because we have 2 members that have not attended, so they're not going to be part of it. But I think is at the time I think is important, and that would make them proud of being in the committee. I think is something that we need to encourage in the members, is that I always say, if the first part of committee means commit. If you cannot commit, don't join a committee. So if you want a good group of volunteers, make them feel important. I think it's something that we can do.
All right, we'll work with, every committee is going to be a little different, and we'll work to do some variety there. Okay. All right, if that's everything on the agenda, so if there's nothing else, I entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, all those in favor say aye. Thank you, guys.